going to give you a brief overview of how to really look at your physical symptoms from a mind-body perspective and get that resonant aha feeling in your body that allows you to shift symptoms in an instant.
So I'm just going to go over the PDF that we use in our comprehensive introduction to self-healing in the Alchemical Mind-Body Wisdom School, so that you here on YouTube can see it as well. If you would like to go through the whole course and be able to download this document, please use the link below. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please drop them below. Remember to subscribe.
So, opening to the meaning of physical symptoms on an energetic level. These are some really specific hints. So, the mental thoughts and feelings that precipitate the most disease in the body are criticism, anger, resentment, guilt, shame, and fear. So just quickly, here's the helpful hints when you're seeking the meaning of symptoms. First, don't focus on the physical mechanisms of the symptoms. Hard for us to do when that's all we've been focused on this whole time. And that's because physical mechanics takes us to the analyzing the symptom with our rational left brain that cannot make the deep connections required for healing. This is also because it's not the real basis of the problem. Our judgments and what we've labeled something is not the problem. It's distorted energy that's the problem. Our symptoms talk through physical symptoms, but also through feeling, sound, metaphor and images, dreams, symbols, smell. There's so many different ways that we can access this information depending on our strength in accessing it. It's fine to acknowledge and sometimes helpful to understand the body's processes. That's why, Louise Hay's, different books, those things are useful, but only in such a way as we can identify the mirror of how it feels and resonates in our body. So it's far more helpful for us to acknowledge in symbolic and metaphorical way rather than a causal one. So secondly, it's really helpful to work out the exact point in time when each symptom appeared. And we don't have to be obsessive compulsive about knowing the minute, the day, and the week. Just the themes or what was happening. For example, your parents were going through divorce, or you got fired from work, anything like that, okay? So you look into the life situations, the thoughts, the feelings, fantasies, and dreams that were operating at the time. It also helps to look into the preceding period that led up to larger events. Most things that happen to create major events or precipitate the most illness gets to its prime point 6 to 12 months prior to it actually showing up in the body. So thirdly, it's useful to pay attention to language that's reflective and symbolic of what's being manifested. For example, there's idioms and language that we use that we don't pay attention to that we should. For example, it's getting under my skin. I feel stuck between a rock and a hard place. Or I can't keep my head above water, all those types of things. Or some people will literally say it makes me sick to think that so-and-so did or something. The deep understanding of symptoms meaning is most easily accessed when our symptoms are really aggravated or obvious. I call it the transformation threshold. When the energy of the physical symptoms is readily present, our ego self, our child self, people call it being triggered, is really obvious. And this is when Inside Out is most powerful. Fourth, asking what the symptom stops you from doing. So again, we talked about this in the Chronic Illness Mind Traps Masterclass, that we're sick for a reason, right? We don't have to stand up for ourselves. If we're sick, we don't have to go to work that's maybe in a toxic environment. So think about what it prevents you from doing that you would rather not, or what it makes you do that you would like to be doing, which might be resting. 5, to access the real metaphorical, deeply rooted, energetic reality so that you're able to get those aha moments. It is useful to know which body part is effective, and you can research the myths, body postures in yoga, any type of movement that will allow you to get that on a kinesthetic body sense level. Hatha Yoga, I'll put that book below. It talks about the postures and the meaning behind them. And sometimes that's very useful. 6, relaxation. So using music, candles, a deliberate sacred space for your inner world is excellent. Different types of body work I recommend include Rosen method, myofascial release, cranial sacral therapy, Chi saying are great ways to access image energy as well. 7, breathe. Breath makes space for all sorts of things. And I'm not going to go into different types of breathing, but as you are observing yourself, notice your breath. If it's shallow, what you can breathe in. Breath is inspiration. It's about breathing in knowledge and receiving it. And sometimes we don't want to. We're resistant, and that's okay. It's about becoming the observer of your space and your nervous system. Symptoms are persistent friends, and they stay with us no matter how much we judge them, avoid them, ignore them. They persist. They're so great, aren't they? They only want to be loved. And you'll hear me say in the process, if we learn, if you've joined the program already, that we accept, honor, and trust. And this is really hard for us to do when we've been taught to fight things and hide things our whole lives. Hope that was helpful, and enjoy your healing journey.
If you have any questions or comments about this video, please drop them below. Remember to subscribe.